Oh, hello. My name is Andre. Today we have the opportunity to interview with Bernard Champoux, a UX researcher that works in Montreal. And I'd like to start the interview by asking Bernard, what do you do exactly? Where do you work? And give us some details.
Hey, so hi everyone. So yeah, my name is Bernard, and I work for a company in Montreal called Pacific Programming and Tech, and this is the company that create, maintain the website for a gambling online gambling company called BetUS.
Okay.
So we have and people come, they bet on sports, and they also play on our casino game, all kind of casino game, name it. I am a UX researcher for this company, meaning that my job is to get an understanding of our customer, our
Hmm.
user, as we design a service for them. So we want to make sure that we understand them well, and we provide a site with an intuitive navigation, easy approach for deposit, so they can focus on what they love the most, meaning selecting and gambling on sport or play the slot machine or whatever casino game they like to play. So,
I've known Bernard for many years. He used to work in theater set design and then teach into multimedia and computers. Um, so I'm really curious, Bernard, how these two really amazing career influence the way that you do UX now.
well, theater teaching, UX design is all about engagement. First of
Hmm.
all, it's communication and engagement. So theater, really, they play, they tell you a story. In teaching, you can use story as an example to explain something complex, and then all that blend together into trying to um, in a UI design, in a user experience design. I always, write down a story, which is the narrative of the explanation. The narrative of the experience, and then
Hmm.
I work it out. And this is something I got this influence from the theater, from the teaching as well. One influenced the other, and so on.
Okay, thank you. We've moved to a different virtual set. We're now in a virtual bamboo groove. Um, Anyways, let's continue with the interview. Bernard, could you walk us through the process of a UX project from, let's say, the initial research all the way to implementation?
Certainly. The very first step is to understand our user. Um, so we can do that through research, call, I don't know, interview, observation, shadowing. Shadowing is when you follow somebody when they perform a task or something like that, when they use. So you understand the context, and you understand more the task that your user is trying to or is performing, or even trying to perform if they have a bad one. So once we have that, we understand the what they call the mental model, how they think. We understand the context. This is where the interaction are happening, and then we can start sketching a little bit, producing wireframe, producing a low level prototype, see how the interaction are working. We can test it out in usability as well. So we can do a formative usability testing, meaning formative in sense like when you cook and you taste if the soup you cook is, needs some salt, needs some this or that, and it's the same thing. We ask user to perform different task, and we can adjust. Okay, maybe we should move that button over there. Maybe this is hard to see, they don't see it, and so on. And then once we have the usability, we also sit down with the developer, and we say, well, this is what we want to do, this is the feature, and then they give us their point of view in terms of the feasibility. Are we
Mm-hmm.
able to produce it? Are we able to do it also in time, depending? I like to work in agile mode, because it's, stories, and we all work together. They call it grooming. Yeah, you sort of okay, we'll select what is the story, what is the priority for this week, and how many sprint we're gonna uh, we're gonna spend to produce one feature or something. It can be one sprint, two sprint, and I like also at the end of this, the sprint, there is a little demo of what we did, and then we continue. So once you have all that together and you test it out, then you can do a final nice long summative evaluation, hopefully with the beta version of the application. So that's the entire application, and then you ask our user to perform multiple tasks. Make sure it works well. And the sum of all that, I mean, the tasks they perform, how well they perform it within time. We have metric as well in usability, time on task, error rate, success and have success, and so on. So when everything is all right and very good, we can say, yeah, that's a good experience. They have a
Mm-hmm.
good
Mm-hmm.
experience, and user have a good experience most of the time, because they were able to solve the problem they have. They were able to complete their task.
In my class with my graduate students, we often talk about ethical issues, and especially with technology, emerging technology, disruptive technology. Bernard, tell me a little bit how you deal with ethical consideration in an industry where you do things like gambling, or you worked also in the bank and in tax. Um, Created projects for these kind of institution. How do you deal with ethical consideration in that field?
Banking, for example, it's important to provide a feeling of security.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Your data are secure.
yeah.
Your credit card number, your account, this is secure without compromising the user experience.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Meaning, if you want to access your bank account and you need to enter your password, and then you have 4 or 5 or 6 extra uh, verification,
yep,
like
yep,
enter the code from your phone, and
yep,
then
yep,
go see your friend, ask him for
yep, yep.
this will be very, like, yes, it will be highly secure, but in terms of the experience, it wouldn't be funny at all.
Yeah.
Now, if there's no verification, well, that's we alter the feeling of security.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
In gambling, I know, as a research, as I understand, it's a very anonymous world.
mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah,
I don't know
people don't.
why.
Yeah.
I think people don't. Well, I don't know who they talk to,
Mm,
but I know, for example, many people we leave their, they have their credit card, but
mm-hmm.
on their credit card invoice
Yeah.
bill, yeah, the receipt, it's not gambling that
Mm-hmm,
will
mm-hmm,
appear.
mm-hmm.
It's
The
another.
name of a company, or yeah.
Yeah, provide the sense of security and privacy is very important. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and even in our days, it's even more and more important. Mm.
You once mentioned a very long form that people had to fill in before getting into the gambling side, and that with UX work, you were able to cut it almost in half, make it simpler, maybe make it easier. How do you define success in when you're doing a usability or user experience project?
That form
Mm-hmm.
where uh, I have full success, so they
Mm-hmm.
complete the form without any problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Half, half success, meaning like they complete the form but with some mistake.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And zero, like they were not able to
Yeah.
complete the form
They
at
give up.
all.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, their task, or
Mm-hmm.
they give up. And the worst one is they fail and they think they succeed.
Yeah.
That's a problem,
Yeah.
because we don't want that. We want,
Yeah.
if I don't like the word fail, but I don't have any other one now. But
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't complete your task,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's good to let them know. Well, you still need
That's
to
right.
complete your task and
Provide
to
them
submit
feedback
the
to.
form in order to, order your the goods you want. Because sometimes people think, "Oh, I'm done. Okay, I'm okay." No. You're not done, but you have to say that
Yeah.
properly. So this is how we measure success. And also, I did a good an approach in terms of inspection. How much time do you inspect to
Mm-hmm.
take to do that?
Yeah.
5 minutes. So if they do it in 4 minutes or 6 minutes,
Yeah. That's pretty much.
we're fine.
Yeah.
We must focus on the outcome,
Mm-hmm.
the benefit. So
Okay.
what's the benefit if I answer 35 questions, and frankly, I could have done that in 10 questions. People.
How do you balance user experience design needs and business needs?
Well, we work in what we call user-centered design, and the user bring the business to the business. The business has only one goal: is to make money. Any business in the world, the only goal is to make money. So to make money, you need to have customer. But marketing bring the customer,
Yeah. Okay.
and the UX, the design team,
Yeah.
keep the customer in.
Depending on the industry, is the process of user experience design the same, or does it change?
I think the principle of UX, provide a good experience, and being efficient, being effective, it's the same, I think, all the time, but the context is different, and the interaction are happening in a context. We need to know the context, the customer bank and the healthcare, for example, customer. And I remember we design for healthcare, we design for nurse. They're very, very busy people. So I just want to make sure, well, in our interface, we're going to have maybe we make sure that they are able to see what's going on from maybe 2 or 3 meter, because they are moving around. They're not sitting quietly in front of a desk like a clerk somewhere. You like in a support center, for example, they sit in front of their desk all day.
We've moved our interview to yet another locale. It's a bit of an experiment in virtual architecture. Certainly, some of it is fantasy, but this is how we get our creativity out. Large design projects are obviously done in a team. As a UX researcher, you certainly work with other people, I suppose, some designers, some developers.
Well, UX research, UX design, it's a team sport. Collaboration is a very important aspect, because as we work together, we grow together.
And people have different skills, obviously. So you want to be able to
all work toward the same goal and understand what the
Yeah, yeah.
problem is and fix it. Yeah.
We work with designers, graphic
Mm.
designers, some very good, there are some very good graphic designer, and it's important, the shape, the color, all
Mm-hmm.
of this work together. We work with content writer,
Yeah.
copywriter, so they
Yep.
write the content.
Yep.
So in terms of the readability,
Yep.
it's efficient, it's
Yep.
great. We work with the developer.
Yeah.
The real nice approach that I haven't seen at all, but it's, I'm sure it's coming, is working on MVP, mean the minimum viable product.
Yeah.
And the point here is to, okay, you produce a component and then you test it.
Mm.
Not if they like or they don't like, that's not the
Mm-hmm.
point. You
If
test
it
the
works,
component
is it?
with
Yeah.
user and you learn
Mm.
something,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay. So then you can iterate
Yeah.
based on what you have learned, but you
Yeah.
always you
Yeah.
always deliver a minimum viable product, or
Mm.
I used to call it also the the MOOP, the minimum usable product. And it's always the question: did we solve your problem?
Mm.
Did we fulfill your need? If we did, that's fine.
Bernard, with your combined knowledge of theater set design, which is basically 3D design, and your knowledge of UX as a researcher and as a designer, how do you see that helping you in becoming a better XR designer? I know you use XR uh, on a weekly basis, and we've discussed at some point, uh, how would a VR casino work. So just curious to see how you think that these skills and would be helpful in XR design.
Well, I think VR is uh, that's that's the new paradigm shift. That
Yeah.
before were working with the application on our screen.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are working within the
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
within the experience.
So
Okay,
you.
well, like we walk in here,
Yeah.
we meet in here, and that's a world that you create. Now, one of the big challenge as well is, you know, what are the interaction in this world?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do we interact in this world?
Yeah.
And what is this? I remember I took some classes last year about virtual reality and
Mm-hmm.
extended reality, and they had an example, very primitive but very good,
Mm.
of feeding animal in a zoo.
Mm. Okay.
So uh, this is not something we can do as
In
visitors
real
on a zoo.
life,
We
that's right.
cannot
Yeah.
feed the
Yeah.
tiger
Yeah. No.
like that. No. But in a virtual world,
Yeah.
you can
Mm-hmm.
feed the
Mm-hmm.
tiger, you
The
can
danger
feed the
animal. Yeah.
bear. Yeah,
The
because the
crocodiles.
animal, yeah, you can. Well, of course, it's a very nice application to do. If you go on high fidelity, you must live
Mm-hmm.
very, all kind of emotion,
Yeah.
but you can do it without being, becoming the dinner. Or
Yeah.
in a virtual environment where I can experiment the thrill of the fear
Yeah.
without the danger or the consequence
That's
of
right.
it. So, and all these emotion that are happening, you experiment fear or laugh or whatever. This is the experience
Mm-hmm.
that you live. And then we're getting into an immersive environment in which we can experiment some world, learn trade.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Of course, it's easier said than done.
As a professional, how do you keep up with all the new information? I mean, AI and XR, VR, it's changing all the time. So, what's your strategy?
Udemy, Coursera, About books on iPad. Each time something new,
Mm-hmm.
I just inquiring. Ah, okay, let's go. Let's check it out. Right now, I just produce an entire. I formulate an entire strategy, AI strategy for our health
Yeah.
uh, approach. But I took class on AI. I'm reading some books. I
Yeah.
study about it, and I came up with something. And that's the fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a lifelong learner,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm proud of that, and I still learn.
Yeah.
You know, I'm older, and I'm learning and I'm discovering, and I love that. There's a great feeling of researching. And I remember when I start in theater set or in movie, I
Yeah.
work in commercial a little bit.
Yeah.
I always love that research part,
Yeah.
trying to understand, okay, what did they say? What's the scenario?
Yeah.
What's happening? And then it's constrained because design is constrained. I remember we did a set for Michel Tremblay play Les Belles Sœurs in a small theater we had at
Mm-hmm.
school, and somehow we bon, how do we do that? There were many scenes, and finally this happened, and the world of Michel Tremblay happening in the Montreal plateau, and
Yeah.
people on the windows. So we just built wall with windows, and the actress were leaning against the window talking to each other,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we
Mm-hmm.
hang some clothes all around, and we
Yeah.
put the public in the middle, like
Okay. So
people
yeah. Yeah.
were
Yeah.
in the backyard court,
Yep. And
listening
surrounded
to
by buildings.
all, yeah, surrounding by these, people,
Yeah. Yep.
because this is exactly what they did at this time.
Yep.
They had their pillow against the window with
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola bottle, and they were talking about
Yeah,
each other,
gossiping or talking,
yeah,
and yeah. It's almost
gossiping.
the same thing when we design in VR. You cannot put everything. There's constraint. There's the speed of
Yeah,
the computer that's in the headset. There's bandwidth.
yeah.
There's so yeah, it's very interesting.
Thank you so much, Bernard. This has been a great sharing of your knowledge with my students. Really, truly appreciate it. And I wish you the best in your career. And I'm looking forward to see what you do in XR. Bye.
Uh,
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.